Thank you so much for stopping in. This is the transmission I have for you today. During the transition of ages, many energetic changes occur. We speak to you today about the personal relationships you engage in, the interactions you have with other people, with family, with friends, and the interplay you have with business colleagues and other businesses, along with the established sectors that are crumbling. You will come to a point where the way you have handled situations or handled relationships of all types, personal, business, child, adult, friends, the way you have previously conducted relationships, you will come to a point where you see your tactics, your philosophies, your actions no longer work. You are evolving away from dominance behaviors and tactics and making adjustments, transitions towards harmony. The relationships you currently have that are combative, relationships you are currently engaged in that are strained, unbalanced, that are unbalanced, that are tit for tat, that bring unfortunate activities into your life experience, will begin to separate from your energy. Separate the energy by you and for you. So you're going to just naturally the energy is going to begin to separate you from those kind of relationships. I'm going to continue. This energy that we speak of is the destructive dominance behaviors that humanity has learned through the time of the outgoing era energetics. Dominance is part of the ethos of humanity thinking and beliefs. However, as you continue to move away from the dominance era and towards the new incoming era, the way you handle situations, relationships with other people, business, family, and friends will continue to adjust and become a natural strategy and tact to exit bad relationships and create the resonance around you to attract benevolent and joy-filled, productive relationships. The transition you are going through does not bring a great deal of immediate comfort and will have turbulence. Understand, you are in a transition. Work through it and have patience through the turbulence. Let the new energetics interact through your movements to allow your trajectory towards harmony in the most appropriate way. You are part of the divine plan. The divine plan is your plan. And that's where it ends. That's where this day's transmission ends. Just a reminder, you probably know by now, but I am a conscious trance channeler through automatic writing. I receive the messages through handwriting, and then I read the messages on these videos to you. As far as this transmission, it's a really good reminder that in our current dominance energy, relationships are supposed to be strained. That is what it just is. That is what we've been taught. And I think earlier in here they said it's the ethos of our current learning that we're leaving. We're leaving the dominance era. So we are, we're still consumed by dominance. Therefore, relationships are going to be strained. Relationships are going to be destructive. Not all of them, but there's just more. They're just within our life, the way we live our life. Strained relationships, not only with just family and friends and business associates and companies, but just in general. There's just more of a focus on the negative, I think, may be what I'm trying to think about. And we're still in that someone else is in control and others are not. And the good thing is we are getting out of that. We are leaving that era. We're leaving the era of dominance, and we're entering into the era of harmony. And that is how we, and knowing this, and knowing that we are part of the divine plan. And they also said, the last thing they said was, you are part of the divine plan. The divine plan is your plan. That's why it's divine. It's because it's our individual plan. And within that individual plan, we are part of the whole group that we're also going through a group learning. And so there we will leave the dominance and move into harmony. So, and they also said it's not immediate, it's not fast, but it's going to start happening. So you need to start accepting that, recognizing that we do have, certain places within our life, we do have conflicts, and they're not nice and they're not fun. And in harmony, you really don't have conflicts because you don't have that battle between who's in control and who's not in control. And that eliminates a lot of conflict. So just know that we each have our own we're part of the divine plan, and we know what it is. And that we are evolving away from the dominance behaviors. And that is such a critical thing to remember. They said you are evolving away from dominance behaviors and tactics and making adjustments, making the transition towards harmony. And it takes time, and every day gets better. A couple of years ago, they said every day gets better. Just remember, look for those changes. Look for those little changes that happen along the way that prove things are getting better. The big picture may not, when you're kind of in the big picture and you're swirling around in it, it may not feel like anything's changed. But when you look at it, when you observe it from the perspective of really what adjustments have really taken place, what have we really learned, those are the things that they told us we will, on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, what we will recognize as the small changes that become the big changes. I can't remember how long ago that was that they told us that, but that's pretty, that was nice to come back to my thoughts. And the other thing that I just see now is that remember that during this time, it's going to take time. It's not immediate, but we will begin to just naturally separate from those relationships that are not good. That we will naturally separate from it. We'll separate, it's going to be our choice. It's going to be the energetics that just create it, separate you from that negative energetics, and separate the energy by you and from you. So some will be natural, some will be choice. And overall, it's just a necessary thing that has to happen naturally. It's not natural. It's not forced. It's not, pretend. It is natural. The changes in relationships are going to happen, and they're going to be natural, or you will choose not to have that in your life any longer. Interesting. A very interesting focus on relationships. That's it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening, and please stay tuned because there's a lot more to come.